looks like we did it! Wow! So this is a rivalry, huh? Nice.
I must admit, Kurt, you truly are a worthy adversary. But the two of us will have to settle things another time. To me, Testarossa, the Vermilion Knight!
Very well.
Zalber Soldats!
He had them ready.
Heed my call! Valimar, the Ashen Knight!
Come! Ordine, the Azure Knight!
Acknowledged.
Alrighty, now the real show's about to start.
Show him you're a real man now, Princey boy!
The time has come, Reen. You're the Ashen Chevalier, and the son of Chancellor Osborne. I admired you more than anyone. But now you stand against me as the hero of the Radiant Wings. I have no choice but to surpass you. The Vermilion Knight, once held by Emperor Hector, then the false Emperor Orthros, is now mine. And I will prove my worth as its awakener.
Very well. I'll give it everything I've got too. We'll fight each other on equal ground, as awakeners!
Allow me to assist. Come on, let's get this party started.
So it's finally over.
Nice. They did it.
I lost? What have I done? I helped start this war. I stood idly by when my father and brother nearly lost their lives. What was it all for? This can't possibly be real. It can't. It can't. Chancellor Osborne, Lecter, Rufus, Father, Mother, Alphen, Olivert. Tell me this is just a bad dream.
Your Highness.
No. This is real, isn't it? The truth was that I simply wanted strength above anything else. Now, I must accept the consequences. Isn't that right, Kurt?
Yes. I too hated my weakness and wanted to get stronger. We just happened to end up on different paths. But the past is the past. We need to see one another for who we are now. As equals. As rivals. But most importantly, as friends.
I knew you were too soft. I would expect no less from a Vander. No. From you, Kurt.
Is he going to be okay?
Yeah. It seems like he just lost consciousness. I can only imagine the toll all of this must have taken on him.
Even though he's not an immortal, I'm sure losing a rivalry didn't help him any. He probably burnt through all his mana.
Yes, I think that's likely.
We shouldn't just leave him here.
Don't worry about it. I'll keep an eye on him.
Shirley?
You look pretty drained, too. She must have been lending the prince her strength during the rivalry.
Yup, sure was. Usually I'd be able to fight for 3 days straight if I had to. But I'm not feeling so hot right now. Honestly, this might be your best chance at taking me down. I'm game if you want to try.
What is wrong with you?
Man, Randy was definitely right about her.
No. You've actually been holding back this whole time, haven't you, Shirley? I noticed it way back in the Grawl. Ever since then, you've been focused on looking out for Prince Cedric above anything else.
You're right.
Turns out you've got a soft spot after all, huh?
Not really sure how to explain it. I just can't shake the feeling I should be keeping an eye on him. Making sure he's okay. It's not like he's even my type. I'm way more into girls anyway. Huh. Maybe he's like a little brother to me. Oh, crap. Think I'm gonna need a nap soon. You've gotta deal with Mr. Jade Rug next, but you might run into Lady Belle and Campy on the way. Good luck. You're gonna need it.
Thank you, everyone. It means a lot. And I'll do all in my power to see us through to the end.
So you've survived the fourth rivalry after all! Color me impressed.
I guess the little prince just couldn't measure up. Given that he had the fortress's power, he should have had at least a 60% chance of winning. Oh well.
And knowing Shirley, she would have gone all out when it came to battle. Well, moving on. How do you care for our artistic embellishments? We figured this place could use some touching up.
Is this all just a game to you?
You two really are the worst.
I see McBurn's not with you. Even so, I can sense him. He's waiting for us somewhere in this fortress.
My, how perceptive! Those senses of yours are impressively sharp. Perhaps it's something you picked up from being the sacrifice.
It seems like McBurn has his own things he wants to take care of. But I've gotta say, he's been real fired up since your run-in at Orcus Tower. We promise not to play too rough. If you're curious, why don't you go check up on him yourselves after we're done here? Well, assuming you managed to make it past the Jade Rook too, of course.
Your words mean nothing. You don't even have any intention of taking this battle seriously. It sounds like they're only going to do the bare minimum to fuel the rivalry.
That's right. The more I understand how the rivalries work, the more intrigued I am. They're very well designed. They're actually the perfect reference for my Ars Magna research. Oh, please, don't hold back. I'll need every little bit of data I can get from you.
You really are the worst.
You may be an Anguis, just like the Steel Maiden was, but you're nothing like her.
Oh my. I'm terribly sorry if I offended you. I considered dropping in to bid her farewell, but since we weren't especially close, I decided it wasn't my place. To be honest, though, I'm a little surprised McBurn didn't stop by.
Who knows? Maybe he already said his goodbyes. I'm sure our other members outside of Erebonia would have liked to pay their respects too. Oh well, that's just how things go sometimes.
I've got a question for you two. It might be a little late to be asking, but what happened to taking back your Phantasmal Blaze plan?
Ooh.
And why would you possibly be interested in that, little SSS fangirl?
It's because the SSS got wrapped up in it that I want to know. And now that we're on the topic, there are a bunch of things I just don't get about you. You go around pressing people's buttons and making evil grins, but I don't get the feeling you're as much of a jerk as you let on. And on top of that, people say you've looked exactly the same for the past decade. What even are you?
Oh?
Could he be a homunculus like me and Milliam?
Nah, his facial expressions, the malice behind his grin, it all seems way too human. I don't get the feeling he's an immortal either.
And you, Mariabelle, let's forget the fact that you're a scummy traitor for a moment. Why the heck did someone as self-absorbed as you swear allegiance to the Grandmaster?
I wondered that about Vita, too. And even the Steel Maiden, she was a proud knight. Why would she serve such a group?
Aren't the Enforcers free to do whatever too? If they want to leave the group, Ouroboros doesn't try to stop them at all. What kind of evil organization works like that?
The Guild's been wondering that for a while now, too. The Steel Maiden went off and did her own thing, and Sharon's quit completely.
Not just them, either. Joshua, Ren, Blue Blanc, the late Blade Lord, and one other I've heard about. If you add Vita too, then that's a lot of your group that's gone AWOL.
Yet here you are, acting like it's no big deal. This shit don't add up. Your whole group just doesn't act like a team at all. It's like... how do I put it?
Ouroboros is an organization comprised of people who work to further the Grandmaster's goals. But at the same time, your members are also part of some bigger experiment.
That's it! Wait, damn it, Egret! Why you gotta steal my thunder like that?
Wow! Those are some serious leaps of logic right there. But maybe this was bound to happen at some point.
That's right. Liberl and Crossbell's fate being swallowed by the Empire, the SSS's findings, the Gospel Plan. Anyone who cared to put together all these pieces should have been able to realize what was truly going on. But it certainly is surprising that it was you of all people who figured it out. Was it Mr. Ashen Chevalier's lessons that helped you hone that intuition?
No. To be honest, I'm just as surprised.
It actually makes perfect sense. She has the perspective of both Crossbell and the Empire, and the will to never give up.
It's thanks to both Instructor Reen's ability to bring out the best in people, and Yuna's own determination that she's come so far.
If Reen is the core of Class 7, then maybe Yuna is the bridge that links Class 7 to the world.
Whoa there! I think you're giving me way too much credit. I'm just trying to get as much info out of them as I can. Knowing them, they're just gonna get in our way, say something vague, and then vanish. You're standing against us right now because you feel like it. But I'm fighting back for the sake of those who believe in the future. I have no idea what Ouroboros is planning after the Great Twilight's over. But whatever it is, we'll put a stop to it. Just like we're going to stop you now!
Wow, not bad. Yuna.
You tell him, girl.
Well said. I'm proud of you, Yuna.
My, that was absolutely splendid! Yuna Crawford. I must admit, I didn't expect such a fine diamond in the rough from the city I left behind.
Of course, it was Thor's Class 7 that cut and polished her. And thanks for that excellent little speech of yours. I think I'll actually go all out for once.
Damn it, of course they've got backup.
Brace yourselves, everyone. We're gonna have to give this everything we've got.
Let's begin, shall we? We were only planning to have a little fun with you. But seeing as you won't stop going on about togetherness and bonds, maybe it'd be fun to see what happens if I thin your ranks a little.
How about this? If you show me a good time, I'll throw in a little bonus. I'll share a juicy tidbit about the society, if you win. Only information the Grandmaster has permitted me to share, of course. I want to hear you fight, and struggle, and cry out in pain!
Are all of you Ouroboros people actually insane?
You wanna fight? I'll give you a fight!
Class 7, prepare for battle. Don't be fooled by their tricks.
Fight them with everything you have, with the power of all our friends and allies!
Right!
We did it!
How'd you like that?
Dear me, how unexpected.
Oh, I even used the skills I copied from the Iron Bloods, but it didn't make a difference.
I won't let you. I'm coming too.
My, you're not as easy to shake off as those simpletons from the SSS, are you?
Come on now. Do you seriously think you can capture us?
No, I doubt we'd be able to. And honestly, I wish I could just tell you to get out of our sight.
Further, attacking wounded opponents would bring no honor.
But you said you'd give us more info. So it's time to pay up.
What the hell happened with the Phantasmal Blaze plan? Let's start with that!
Oh, fine. The truth is, the plan is still in effect. In fact, it's nearly at its end. Once the rivalry of the Seven has been completed, our objective will be met.
How come Vita wasn't even aware that your goal had changed?
Well, that's because she just wanted to lift the curse through those pseudo-rivalries she was setting up. We, on the other hand, are here to witness the reformation of the Great One. Though to be honest, we don't actually care whether or not all its pieces stick together properly.
What do you mean?
In other words, your goal isn't to claim the two Septarians, but rather, you intend to return the power divided among the Divine Knights back to one.
And it doesn't matter to you if it's properly reformed or not?
That's right. We don't care if they disappear either, the same way the Septarian of Mirage did. Observing the path each of the 7 Septarians take when dropped into mankind's hands in this possible world. That is our goal, the driving force behind the Grandmaster's plan.
Possible world?
What the hell does that even mean?
I'm afraid those who are still bound by the shackles of this world wouldn't be able to comprehend our mission. Not everyone can be on the same level as Professor Epstein, after all. For now, don't worry your pretty little heads about it. Just focus on the rivalries ahead. Rufus is waiting for you on the top floor, by the by. Oh, and he's got Alberic with him. You might want to be careful with that one.
The Chief of the Gnomes is there too?
So they've been hiding them here in the fortress.
In all honesty, you lot aren't half bad. You exceeded our expectations, at the very least. McBurn might finally be able to accomplish his long-held plans if he's up against you guys. I'm sure he'd appreciate it if you went and paid him a visit.
Regardless of how this tale ends, Ouroboros will carry on with the Grandmaster's plan. We will soon move on to the third stage of the Orpheus final plan. Who knows? I may just be lucky enough to encounter some of you again, someplace or other. Oh, and by the way, Yuna dear, would you mind passing a message from me to Ellie and your other friends at the SSS? Please tell them. We'll meet again someday. Oh, and that I'll be rooting for Crossbell's independence.
So, you've arrived.
Earlier than expected, too.
Yes, we've come for you, Rufus.
Did you really think those two from Ouroboros would hold us up for long?
It doesn't matter. They've fulfilled their role. The only thing we require for the rivalry is the Ashen Awakener. Everyone else is none of our concern. The Azure Awakener included. The Sword of the End still has a role to play, however. Campanella and Maribel were to thin out your ranks, but they didn't even use their ion against you. How disappointing.
How could you?
Man, say what you really mean, why don't you?
This guy has textbook villain written all over him.
Ouroboros has their own priorities, and we have ours. We can't expect outsiders to be fully invested in our plans, after all.
Yes, I suppose that's true. Their organization is only interested in observation. Further cooperation may not be necessary.
Today's just full of interesting info, huh?
That's a topic for another time, perhaps.
The wings stolen from the Steel Maiden's Divine Knight.
The Auric Knight has completely absorbed them now.
That power was rightfully won by the Ashen Knight. It should have gone to Valimar.
Rufus Alberea, Knight of Blood and Iron. The man before me is no brother of mine. Interrupting a duel at the last minute, and for your own selfish reasons. Have you no honor?
He did the same thing back when he killed Grianos at the Infernal Castle.
You're pretty messed up for someone who's supposed to be the noblest of nobles.
I can't deny it. But even so, noble blood still runs through my veins. Banter aside, I had a war to manage on top of my duties as a Knight of Blood and Iron. Surely you can't fault me for picking the most efficient course of action. Oh, and by the way, I'm happy you were able to recover Millium, even if she is simply a projection from the sword.
How dare you!
It's okay, guys. He's not wrong, you know. Sup, Rufus? Long time no see!
Yes, you certainly surprised all of us back at the Grawl. But I'm happy, as a fellow Ironblood, that we were able to meet again. Although, I imagine my joy pales in comparison to Clara Lecter's.
Aw, don't sweat it. We didn't really have that many chances to hang out anyway.
Milliam, you're definitely one of a kind.
I think you're being a bit too cheerful given the situation.
Sorry to interrupt, but I believe this will have to do for our banter. We should begin the preparations now. Ideally, this would have taken place during the Great Twilight's climax. But I suppose it may work out yet. Should you lose to Lord Rufus, he will obtain the Sword of the End, allowing us to be fully prepared for the final rivalry.
Sorry, but that's not how it's going to go.
You seem pretty confident that Rufus will win. No. Maybe it's not Rufus you place your faith in, but the Auric Knight.
Oh?
It's true that the Auric Knight has seemingly limitless potential, just like the Argent Knight.
You see, the Divine Knights may appear to be equally powerful, but there is a hierarchy among them. They have engaged in many battles over the past centuries, each time being wiped from the annals of history. All as practice for the true rivalry of the Seven. The only knight that did not participate was the Ebon Knight. It may interest you to know that even if a Divine Knight is destroyed, with time it will regenerate. Their awakeners, however, often end up as undead abominations. Nosferatu. Do you remember the field of endless blades you witnessed during your trial below Thor's? Each sword marked a Divine Knight's defeat, the grave of yet another of its awakeners.
can't believe it.
So that's what they were.
In all the battles that occurred, two knights emerged victorious far more often than their brethren. Their strength is second only to the Ebon Knights. Surely by now you must know which ones I refer to, correct? They were, of course, the Auric Knight, brilliant as the sun, and the Argent Knight, which glows like the moon. Following them was the Crimson Demon with 1,000 weapons, the Vermilion Knight. Compared to such supremely powerful machines, the Azure, Palatinate, and Ashen Knights are nothing.
Where does this guy get off? Kinda pisses me off to hear him trash talk Ordine like that.
It's true that the kind of energy it gives off feels completely different from the others.
And now that it has the Argent Knight's powers as well.
Precisely. You made a grave error in not properly absorbing the Azure Knight's energy. In your current state, you won't be able to make full use of the Palatinate and Vermilion Knight's powers. Frankly, I didn't have high expectations for Prince Cedric's ability to use the Vermilion Knight. It makes things more convenient for us now that you've absorbed its power as well.
You just say whatever you want, don't you?
But you don't have a damn clue what we're capable of.
Class 7's been through so many crucial moments together. Everything we did in the Civil War, the Grawl of Erebos.
And in the course of those events, we lost some of our dearest friends. Yet despite that, we never gave up.
We challenged foes we had no hope of defeating, getting help along the way whenever we needed it. No matter how hard it was, and even if it was only small steps, we kept moving forward all the same.
Yeah, and the new Class 7 is following in your footsteps.
No. You've already caught up to us, Yuna. Instead of walking in our shadow, you walk with us as equals.
Optimism, perseverance, and cooperation are what give us... No. They're what gives humanity true strength. Technology doesn't mean anything on its own. Without human hearts to guide it, it's nothing more than steel and circuits. Once the Great Twilight is over, you say you want to create a world ruled by the Black Workshop. But if there isn't any heart in this cold world you want to make, then what's the point?
I'm sure when you made me and Tilly, you never expected us to have feelings. But we went way beyond what you expected. We pretty much became humans.
Yes, I believe this applies to Kia as well. And it all points to one thing.
Right. We create meaning in our lives by our interactions with others. And it's the bonds between people that shape the world. The world you want to create is one completely under the Ebon Knight's control. A world where the inhabitants, like the gnomes, are enslaved to a higher power without wills of their own. Where people can't find meaning in their lives by struggling and helping each other to move forward. But is there really any meaning to a life like that?
That same tired rhetoric.
Actually, I believe I agree with them. Still, don't think yourselves unique. I have experienced my own fair share of hardship and struggle. And ultimately, I have no plans to serve anyone either. Not the Ebon Knight, nor Chancellor Osborne. My path is clear. I will be the one to surpass my father.
The Holy Sword of Vishnard.
That's one of the twin blades the Alborea family used to slay Nosferatu in ages past.
Usus, you too?
Is that the other one?
Ah, so Arnaud delivered the Holy Sword of Elvars to you. This is simply perfect. We can have ourselves one more sparring match before the rivalry.
Do as you wish, but we must begin our preparations.
Zora Valor!
The original combat shell.
That's right. Even Estelle and the others had a tough time dealing with it.
It pains me to see what's become of you, Father. But I still believe in the love that you had for Mother and me. So I'll prove it. Right here and now, I'll prove to you that your love was not a lie.
Stubborn as ever, Ms. Reinford. You leave me no... You leave me no choice but to snuff out that foolish hope of yours for good. To prove to you that my master is this world's only truth. Not Chancellor Osborne, nor the Lionheart Emperor. No, I will serve Ishmelga to the very end!
This will be it, Eustace. Your last opportunity to challenge me before I transcend humanity. Now, let us cross blades!
Wait, does he mean...
No way!
You damn